Hey everybody, come cook with me. Tonight we're going to make, it's kind of something that I made up a long time ago. This is called Cowboy Wagon Wheel Pie. All right, basically it's a meatloaf and mashed potatoes on top with a surprise in the middle. So we're going to give it a shot, and first thing we're going to do is chop up a half of an onion. I've learned to downsize my cooking to accommodate just the three of us. On the weekends is the only time we really have a lot of people around, and so I'm having to adjust my recipes for the weekdays when we don't have so many mouths to feed. And we don't have so many picky mouths to feed because on the weekends they get really picky. So I'm just going to put this in my food chopper. Boy, that kind of took a lot out of me, didn't it? It's very hot in my house today. I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll see. We'll have to adjust the thermostat because I'm done sweating. I'm too old to sweat. Oh yeah, that's nicely chopped. Okay, what I'm going to do is I have a pound of hamburger here. We're going to add this chopped onion to this pound of hamburger. A couple pieces didn't finish. I tend to not slam like I should. Well, I'm not really slam, but I don't have a lot of upper body strength. Can you hear the difference? I don't have a lot of upper body strength, and sometimes I think I hit harder than I do. So, here we go. All right. There's our half of an onion. We also have 1 pound of ground beef in here. And we're going to add 1 egg. I'm going to add about a teaspoon and a half of Worcestershire sauce, which I love. That's actually kind of a throwback to my daddy. My daddy used to love steak tartare, and every time Mama would make meatloaf or hamburgers or whatever, Daddy would get all excited about steak tartare. Dad, what are you doing? This is about a cup of breadcrumbs. I use the unflavored breadcrumbs. Anyway, Daddy would take, I don't know, about a tablespoon of hamburger, and he'd put salt and pepper and Worcestershire in it, and he'd ball it up in a ball and just pop it in his mouth. It was so nasty. Alrighty, so I'm hot, so I'm swollen, so I'm going to have to mix this by hand, so I'm going to use a glove, because I can't get my rings off, and that's just nasty. Alright, also, I'm going to add a half a can of this tomato sauce, not tomato paste, but tomato sauce. It does, you know, like any meatloaf, it needs some sauce, so we're going to add a half a can of tomato sauce. I love this. Okay, to that we're going to add some salt and pepper. And to that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon, maybe 2, maybe 1.5, of the 3 onion. This is an amazing blend. It comes in, as you can see, this is a Taste Buds pack. This is a 3 onion rub. It's fabulous on all kinds of meats. Yeah, that's good. All kinds of meats, chicken, pork chops. It's even really good on certain kinds of fish, but mostly I use it for my hamburgers and my meatloaf and my steak. It's really delicious. All right, you got to get nasty. Get nasty in there with that ground beef. We're going to be cooking this at a 350 degree oven for about 45 minutes. Uncovered. I don't ever really cover my meatloaf. I used to, but I love the way our stoneware cooks food, and it's just, for some reason, very seldom do I ever cover it. And it's just delicious. Okay, what you're going to do now is you're going to cut this in half. So I have half my mixture and half my mixture because we're going to put a little surprise inside. We're using the deep dish pie plate. Alright, we're done with this. We're going to put half of our mixture in the bottom of the deep dish pie plate. Mash it down just like you would if you were making a pie crust. Okay? Delicious. Okay. Now we're going to have a fun little surprise. Okay, so here we go with our cheese. We're going to cut our cheese into small, thin slices and just wagon wheel the cheese throughout the pie shape. All right? You know what I mean by wagon wheel, as though there was a spoke in the center. So we're going to wagon wheel the cheese, and when we cover it with the remainder of our meat, there's going to be surprise in every bite, or every wedge anyway. So we've got the surprise cake pan. Now we've got the surprise pie pan. We can make a surprise out of anything if we want to, can't we? Alright. I love this little utility knife. It's kind of one of my go-tos. I use it for almost everything. So do my kids. A little coated utility knife. I do love it. As you can see, I didn't need all my cheese, so I put the rest in the baggie in the sink. Okay, here we go, last piece. So, you can see I've wagon wheeled it all the way around. So the next thing you want to do is take the rest of your hamburger, put it there on top, mash it around, and you're going to marry the sides around the cheese. You don't want the cheese to be showing. You want that to be your surprise. So we're going to push this around and conceal all the edges. Seal it good. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, this is also a great meal to use for leftovers. I had some leftover mashed potatoes that I took out and let come to room temperature. And we are going to conceal this fun little thing underneath the mashed potatoes. We're going to put some ketchup on top of this. Spread that around. I love this little mini spreader. It's so good. Yay. Okay, here we go. I mean, you know, cheeseburger's not a cheeseburger without ketchup, right? So, that cheese all the way around, all the way to the edges, just like you would if you were doing a pizza. I forget what style that is. It takes the sauce all the way to the edge. But that's what we're going to do. And I'll show you what that looks like. See, you've got it all the way to the edge, all the way around. Okay, put this back in the sink. And now we are going to take our leftover mashed potatoes, and we are going to put that right on top of our cowboy wagon wheel meatloaf, or cowboy wagon wheel surprise, something like that. Whatever you want to call it. That's just what we call it, or that's what I call it. Okay, my oven is already preheated and it's waiting on me. One of the things you might want to make sure that you do when you are putting potatoes or anything else on a slick surface like ketchup, go in small batches. You know, your first instinct is to just plop it down. Get it out of the bowl and plop it down. But you don't want to do that, because what you do is you run the risk of the sauce that you've used bleeding through. And if you're trying to quietly conceal that, that's not a very good way to handle it, because it's going to bleed through and you're going to not have a surprise. So use small spoonfuls. There we go. and gently move it towards the edge. Looks kind of like a cloud. God, I sound like that Bob guy. Pretty little trees, happy little trees. We've got happy clouds of mashed potatoes. All right. Now I am not, sometimes I do, but I'm not tonight going to sprinkle cheese on top of this because we have plenty of cheese on the inside of it. So I'm not going to ruin that surprise by putting more on top. Gosh, even the dog is licking his lips. My gracious. Okay. We'll use it all up. I don't want to put it back in the fridge. So pretty. Like I said, fluffy little clouds. So let's take a peek. See? No, I did miss a little edge right there, but that's okay. All right, we're going to put this in a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. We're going to check it at about 35 to 40 to see if everything is heated through properly. We want to make sure that egg and that meatloaf is cooked really, really well. All right, I will see you back here soon. Okay, everybody, the timer's gone off and it's time to get our dinner out of the oven. Yay! My guys are not here. He's late, bless his heart, my oldest. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Okay. Ordinarily, I would be serving this right away. Well, you know, about 5 minutes resting time. I'd be serving it right away, but my oldest isn't home yet, and he had to go to work on the other side of Richmond today. And my youngest hasn't gotten home from the gym yet. So, I wonder how they feel about me just digging in by myself. All right, let's stop our timer. Stop. Okay. I just might have to do that. We're going to let it rest for a second. I'm going to go get a plate. Gosh, that looks so good. Let me... All right, let me tilt it up. Those... Look at that. Oh my gosh. Yes! Okay, I'm very excited about this. This is one of my favorite things to do. I don't know why. It's kind of a comfort food for me. So I'm going to go get a plate, and I'm going to let that rest for a second, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to show you how num-num that is. Okay, this is one of the things I've had forever and ever. Honestly, I can't even remember how long ago I got this. The pie cutter and server, which is, you know, perfect for the pie plate. So I'm just going to cut a wedge right out of here. Oh my gosh. You can feel the resistance. So I know it's done. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And you can see the little surprise in it. So who needs the surprise cake pan when I've got a surprise pie plate? Yay! Okay. I wonder if I can tilt that up. And y'all can see what that looks like cut like that. That just looks so good. All right. If you try it, you need to let me know. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay. And look, there's no grease down the bottom. That's one of the things I love about stoneware. For some reason, it just absorbs that grease. And even though you might not have the 97.3 or 93.7, whatever it is, ground beef, I still have very little grease that just rests in the bottom of any of my stoneware when I make my meatloaf. Because I'm cheap and I don't buy the 93.7. But anyway, all right, so that's dinner. If you would like to, you can put a little shredded cheese on top since they've already seen the surprise. That's a great way to serve it. I would typically serve this with either broccoli, Brussels sprouts, or green beans. If we're going to go truly Southern, it's going to be green beans. Today, I'm just not that hungry, and I'm just going to wait on the guys to decide what they want. So anyway, I hope you enjoy, and if you like to try it, give me a shout out and tell me in the comments that you're going to try it, because I think you really like it. All right, you guys, happy Monday. I hope you have a great day. Take care, everybody.